Hello. It has been a hot minute. I am coming to you here with one sleeping baby in my arms and a big sleeping baby having a nap. So we'll see how this goes. But I just was sitting here and had a realization that I wanted to share with you guys. I felt very called to come on and share this. It's something I've put a lot of thought into, especially lately, and just, anyway, the realization came to me and it's finally kind of clicked and just made sense. So let me share a little bit about, I guess I would say perfectionism versus positivity. Okay, let's get into this. This is getting very personal and very much real talk here with you guys. For so much of my life, I have been the person where things have just worked out for me, or I've just been lucky, or, things have always gone my way. And I've honestly felt a lot of guilt around that, being that person that just has things work out for them, when that's not always the case for everyone, right? And I would feel bad about things, or I would dim things down to, make it seem like, oh, maybe that isn't the case. Maybe it doesn't, I just am lucky. And so I just got thinking about, how I present that within my business, right? As someone that is, someone that has become an expert in manifestation. A huge part of that is positivity, right? And mindset work, right? So, when I think about how I want to share my life and share my business with you guys, and how I want to mentor others and be an educator, I very much am in the realm of positivity, and that is the actual reality of my life. That is the truth of my life. And when I got thinking back and looking on that, I thought, I don't want people to look at my life and think, oh, she's just manifested everything. She just lives in this perfect life. Like, there's got to be negativity and there's got to be bad things, or, this isn't real life, let's say. And while I don't share much on the negative things or the bad things that have happened, there is a reason for that. And I kind of had to just do some self-reflection and figure that out, because I thought, should I be sharing more of those things that happen? Because I am human, and there are definitely bad things that happen, or negative things or negative outcomes that happen that are a part of my life. But I have always chose to, yes, definitely accept them and reflect on them and realize why they've happened. But I have learned and realized that it is so important not to dwell on them, right? And get myself back into that positivity. Okay, this has happened. Look at the growth that came from that. For example, let's say, the journey to motherhood for me started with a miscarriage. That was very much a low, honestly, probably one of the lowest moments in my life, right? There was so much self-questioning and self-reflection that I did, but that was also that was the pivotal moment that has sparked me and got me to where I am today. I would have never started this business. I would have never took that jump into manifestation had I not experienced that, right? So I'm able to take that unfortunate experience and turn it into something that has fueled me, that has provided growth. Not return it, like being retired from my education job, right? Financially going through that, there were definitely struggles. There were low points in that, right? And that's not something I have chosen to dwell on, because I am so grateful for the finances, the money that continues to come in and show up for me, for my family, and provide, right? That is what I'm choosing to focus on, and that is what keeps coming. For an example, my workshops, when I was doing workshops regularly, there were workshops where sometimes no one came, no one showed up, right? And those were huge growth moments as well. Those were the moments where I sat down and did some self-reflection and had huge growth come from that and more deeper alignment, right? Those were the moments where I was like, okay, let's reflect and go within. What's going on here and how can I show up in deeper alignment, right? And when I did that, everything started to change. There are also some other experiences that I have experienced within my life that I haven't shared much about and not many people know, but those moments have been incredibly hard and I have had to do some major healing from them. And again, not something I've talked much about, but and maybe I will share more about that later on, but when I look back to those moments, what got me through those moments, those horribly hard moments that I didn't ever think I would be able to come out of, and, I thought that they were going to be pivotal moments to change me for the worst, let's say. What got me out of that was my mindset and being able to shift back into positivity and gratitude, and that is what got me through that, right? So again, it always comes back to that. Now, let me say, those moments, there was times where that was probably months and months where I carried a lot of emotions from those experiences, right? A lot of guilt and shame and a lot of negative shadow feelings that stuck with me. So there was not always positivity. And that was much before I got into the manifestation. But what I'm saying here is the piece that pulled me out of that and got me through those moments was my mindset. I had to bring myself back to, okay, Jill, what would I really love? Who really am I? And those moments, I didn't actually heal from those experiences until just this past year, right? And those are things that happened maybe, 10 plus years ago, right? So sometimes that healing isn't always immediate. Sometimes we don't fully understand what or why something has happened or where the growth was, or even how an experience like that is going to shape who you are as a person, and how critical those moments also can be into creating you into the version that you are meant to be. It's not that I am just living, a perfect life and only good things only ever happen to me. Yes, I have been incredibly fortunate and there are incredible things, but that is because I am choosing to focus on those. I am living in the positive every day in every way that I possibly can. And the more that I focus on the positive, the more that I focus on these beautiful moments, on the good, on the beautiful, on the gratitude, the more I focus on that, the more that those moments come into my life, right? And I know from being in this work that if I were to do it the opposite, then that would be my life, right? If I were to focus on, like I just mentioned, those difficult things that have popped up or those challenges that have popped up in my life, if I were to really, really dwell and I think focus on those more, then more moments like that would happen. I would be focusing more on the negative or look at what hasn't happened for me and all these things, right? But I've just always been someone that is focused on the positive, that has leaned into all of the good. Even growing up, I was incredibly fortunate to win awards in elementary school. In high school, I was so greatly honored to win many things, to be nominated for many things, to be, student council vice president and president, and was I president? Vice president, I think. And to go on and win speaking contests, which I just realized in elementary school, I did incredibly well with public speaking, even though it terrified me. And now here I am doing it for a living, so crazy. I would go for job interviews and always land the jobs and end up with these beautiful connections and all these things that always seem to just work out for me. And I kind of tried to hide that for a long time, or didn't really fully embrace what was happening, because I could feel that I don't know if intimidated is the right word. It intimidated other people, or it would trigger other people, or I didn't ever want to make anyone else feel bad. I kind of dimmed that down and didn't want to make my life look as good as it was, let's say, because I didn't ever want anyone else to not feel good enough or any of that. But now what I'm realizing is that that was never a coincidence. That was never just luck, right? My mindset has been huge in that. And I'm sharing all of this not to try and sound arrogant or to sound perfect, but I'm sharing it because what it comes down to, bottom line, is my mindset. And what that means is that every single one of you, anyone that's seeing this message, this video, has the power to also carry that mindset. You have the power to live your most perfect life, right? And to know that there are going to be moments where life happens. Things happen that we wish would have never happened, or things happen that are going to drag us down for a period of time. Hi, are you listening? Those things are going to happen and they're going to be inevitable. Okay, we are standing up to do the mom bounce or the mom sway, so bear with me. Anyway, just to wrap all of that up and conclude, I am sharing this with you to inspire you. I have been back and forth on that line of, okay, what do I share to be most authentic and open to you guys? And while of course my life is not perfect, no one's is, and I would never strive to live a perfect life, I do choose to create that positivity, and I have created the mindset that empowers myself, that empowers my life, right? And I have chosen not to dwell on those life moments. While it is very important to accept them and to embrace them and to realize why they have come to you, or if there is a growth out of that. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't, right? But well, honestly, truly, I believe that all of it is always part of God's plan, right? Of course, accidents happen or things happen that maybe don't make sense, and they might not make sense for a long time or ever. At the end of the day, we get to create the life that we desire. We get to create whatever it is that we want in this life, right? And whatever we are focusing on, that is what we are going to continue to attract more of. Okay, so if we are choosing the negative and we are choosing to focus on the moments and the experiences that have been hard, then I personally believe we are going to continue to attract in more of that, right? Or we're going to maybe get stuck in that, right? In those moments and in that mindset, opposed to continuing to see the good and allowing and creating a space and a mindset and an energy, right? When you are on that frequency, you're on that energy of, oh my gosh, guess what just happened? Guess who I just met? Or look what just happened for us, for our family, for, when we are living in that, the more you are living in that, the more that's going to continue to come for you, right? And we all hold that power to create a mindset that we choose. We all have the power to choose every single day. Right? So yes, good things can happen, and good things can happen over and over and over and over again. And that has become my life. It really, truly has. Everything does just work out for me. And sometimes things don't go according to plan. Sometimes they go better, right? Sometimes they go in a different direction where I was needed to have some growth. Anyway, I am going to land my plane there, and hopefully this resonates with, I'm certain that this is going to resonate with many of you, or maybe it will be one special person that really needed to hear this, because I felt very called to just share that and to put that out there. So I am sending you so much love as always, and I hope you have the most incredible day. Don't forget that you are in control, right? And if you don't control your mind will control you. Okay, so take care, sending you love, and we'll talk soon.